Good evening from Browns Bay. It is day 26, I think. It is Monday, and it's late in the evening. And I've been thinking about sheep living in New Zealand. I guess that's pretty normal to think about sheep. We watched the Jamie Oliver program some months ago, and the dish he was cooking was called pastoral. And he'd been visiting Italian shepherds on the mountainside. Amazingly, there was an 80-year-old lady still looking after sheep up on the mountainside. And up there, they cut up this whole lamb and cooked it on an outdoor oven pot with coals underneath while they were looking after the sheep. And it struck me that it was just as well that the sheep weren't aware of what was going on and perhaps not looking, because it's not quite the same as taking your own lunch when you're a shepherd and you cook one of your sheep. But discouraging for the sheep. Uh, Sheep and shepherding is quite a common theme in the Bible. And in Psalm 23, the most famous Psalm of David, David describes God as a shepherd. He says all kinds of things about what the shepherd does. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want, or I shall lack nothing in the old translations. He makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside quiet waters and so forth. Philip Keller, in a book about shepherds and Psalm 23, talks about four things that a sheep needs to lie down. It needs freedoms: freedom from fear, freedom from friction between sheep, freedom from flies or parasites, and freedom from hunger. So that's quite useful, I suppose, if you want to look after sheep. But he says this about the presence of a shepherd. He says that he came to realize that nothing so quieted and reassured the sheep as to see him as the shepherd in the field. They were at ease both day and night. They calmed down. There was less rivalry. They were less edgy and restless. They forgot their silliness because the shepherds kind of brought a peace to the situation. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul is one of the images of Psalm 23. It's a lovely image of restoration of our inner life. One of the interesting lines in this Psalm 23 is the one that is often used at funerals. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. One of the translations of that, probably just as good a translation as the valley of deep darkness, the valley of the shadow of death. Today hasn't been a good day for some people. We were hoping that we would move to some freedom from restrictions in our lockdown sooner than we thought. We're going to wait another week before we move to the next level. There are people who are disappointed because they can't get back to work and earn a living, and some stress in their lives. But at the same time, there are a lot of people around the world who are going through this valley of deep darkness, the valley of the shadow of death, overwhelmed completely by this virus and the number of people that are dying each day. God, as a shepherd, can help us in that situation. The valley of deep darkness, while his light can shine. Death, depression, the things that bring disappointments are all part of our living. But God promises to give us his presence and his peace, and to provide us with all that we need. In the psalm, there's also the symbol of a banqueting table, and he anoints our head with oil, which is a sign of celebration, and our cup overflows, which is a sign of abundance. All those things, of course, don't always feel like that when you're in the midst of a lockdown, when your job's on the line, when you don't have an income, and when you've got loved ones who are ill and struggling. But as we go to rest tonight, may we think of God as the shepherd. May we be at peace in this troubled world. May we remember that he restores, he protects, he feeds, he guards, and he encourages us. And finally, he pursues us with goodness and mercy. Goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, says David. His goodness, his mercy, his loving kindness is there for us to encourage us and to build us up. What a wonderful shepherd he is. And of course, Jesus fulfills all of that as the Good Shepherd who ultimately gives his life for us, and is still with us now, promised to be with us always. So if you've had a difficult day, if it's felt like a bit of the deep valley of darkness, maybe it is the valley of the shadow of death for you. Maybe you're in a place where you've been mourning the loss of loved ones, but also perhaps the loss of a job, the loss of hope, the loss of a sense of future, the loss of freedom. May God, the shepherd, give you his peace. May you be able to rest well and sleep well tonight and be refreshed, and get up tomorrow to face the new day with determination and courage. Bless you. Take care, and good night from Browns Bay. We will see you again.